Connecting, we're recording, and the volume is working. Say something over there.
Hello, can you hear us?
And
Do you want
jump
this
right
door
in.
open or shut? Probably just in case she gets calls. Shut it,
Yeah.
for the recording.
So it is Wednesday, April 8th, 10 a.m. Harney County Court is in session for the regular part of the meeting. We have completed voucher approval. We'll begin with the pledge. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So the court is during the COVID outbreak. Our meeting is closed to the public. We are recording it video and also with a microphone. So just an audio recording plus a video recording. Public comment today will be through an 800 number, and we will open the line at 10:05 for that purpose.
I move to approve the Harney County Court meeting minutes of March 26, 2020.
I second the motion.
Moved and seconded to approve March 26th meeting minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We've got 3 minutes still. Public comment.
Anybody contacted you prior saying they might?
Herb it.
Yeah.
He's actually out in Washington.
And Forrest Keating just texted me this morning to ask if this was going to be recorded or live streamed, and I told him to confirm with Carrier Pete, but that I told him that there is a way to call in public comment to check the website, so hopefully we'll get that information.
And the video recording will be, assuming it works, doesn't stop after 1 second. Jeremy worked a lot on it the last day or two. Will be put on our website. Within 24 hours, it'll go. We can move to old businesses. I think Eric's gonna be here for the bid opening, and I don't think he's gonna be here for this, so. Old business is the request we had to purchase the 2 parcels of land. You have a letter in your packet from Eric stating he sees possible use for the county down the road. He'd like to see us not sell those. And we've always deferred to the roadmaster on if we have parcels like that he needs to use. Keep them in our, we will move them off. We have 2 lists, land's for resale, land's not for resale. Obviously these went in, he wasn't aware of them. And so we always put it before the court before we make the decision to sell them.
Do we need a motion or?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
We have a letter to sign, the 3 of us to send back to the folks who are there.
I move to approve this decision on the road department's request that Harney County parcels of note not being put for sale, and that we sign this letter to whom it may concern.
I second that.
Moved and seconded to honor the roadmaster's request not to sell the 2 parcels of land that had been requested. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do we have to do anything official to move it into the stockpile, or how does that proceed?
We left the assessor's office, no.
Do you want me to keep things?
She's got it here a little bit. No file. going to open up the line.
Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign. To join the conference as the host, press star. Otherwise, press pound. Please enter your host password, followed by the pound sign.
Hello? She just says one more thing.
There are 3 participants on the call, including you. You are joining your conference as the host. For a menu of available commands, press star pound.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So,
Good morning.
Judge Reynolds here, Commissioner Doro Shellman, and Shellman, and we are ready. We'll take public comment. And it will be recorded into the record, and we do have a video recording besides an audio recording going for the meeting. Public comment.
Okay.
Herb, you wanna go first?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. The first question is the county planning on funds from the federal government to get through to June 30? And if so, how much and when?
Your first part of your question is, are we counting on funds?
Yes, usually this time of year, there's some funds that come in lieu of the property taxes for the timber.
So the PILT payment you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's no change in that. We expect that always arrives in the last week of June. And as far as we know, that's still on schedule, and we just received the secure rural school payment the first of this week.
Okay. How much is that? And you said the third week of June.
Expected to be around 1.1 million.
Okay. And you don't expect anything to happen to that because of what's happening back with the federal government and all this money that they're trying to get out real quick, like?
I do not. We've had no word or any concern that there would be a problem there.
Okay. Because if it slips a couple of 3 weeks, it makes it a little difficult for the end of the fiscal year. Anyway, the next question, okay, the next question is, there's been some businesses that have had slowdown in Harney County and everything, and so we're on those people that pay the 3 payments on their property taxes. The third payment is due May 15th. Are we expecting any reduction in the amount that normally comes in at that time because of the slowdown in business and they might not have the money to pay on May 15th?
I can't say that I've talked to the assessor or had any discussion regarding that. That's probably a valid question. I imagine there could be some, but our third trimester payment is around, I want to say, Herb, it's less than 200,000. It's not a crippling amount, should everybody not be able to.
Okay, yeah, because they indicated before when I talked to taxation that was generally about 1/10 that came in on that payment. I just thought, if it went down, because if we come up short, we may have to, I don't know, we pretty well drained the reserve fund, so the only other place that I could think of where the county could come up with money to balance everything by the end of June would be to borrow some money from someplace.
I think we're gonna be okay, Herb.
Okay, because we do need to balance, isn't that a requirement to have balance at the end of the fiscal year?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that's the end of it for me.
Okay,
Can I
thank you.
stay on here, is there anybody else in line, can I stay on here and listen?
There was a couple more people on the line. I'm not sure if it's public comment or one might be Karen Moon who's gonna report to us for the Watershed Council.
Okay, well, if it's a public comment, can I stay on and listen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, other callers?
This is Karen, I'm here.
Okay. And I actually might have been the third,
They said there was only 3.
yeah, 3 including me, so.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Something you're not important to listen to, Karen, but go ahead and get off.
Thanks, Herb.
Okay, thanks much.
Bye.
Okay, so we will move right on. We did old business. Before we open for public comment, we had a couple minutes, so we're on new business, and item 1 would be you, Karen. Nice to hear your voice. Sorry you can't be here.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm enjoying a little time at home too, trying to concentrate on making sure I get work done when I'm home.
All right, we've all got,
struggling with that a little bit, so I have been going into the office a couple times a week, and it's amazing how much more I get done there in half a day than when I struggle to try to get stuff done here.
sure. We've all got your report in front of us.
Okay, so I'll just kind of run through that real quickly. In 2019, the Watershed Council had a really good year. Our main project areas are, of course, community-based water planning, the Harney Basin Wetlands Initiative, our regular grants, which we have not had a whole lot of because water planning and Harney Basin Wetlands is kind of more than a full-time job for anyone. I know you as the county court, as the co-convener of the water planning, are fairly familiar with what's going on. If you want me to go into more detail, that's fine. If not, everything's kind of pretty much in the handout there. We're happy to note that we have 2 aggregate stations now located in the basin. Mark Owens was hosting one site, and the Eastern Oregon Ag Research Center is hosting another. And I think the last update I heard is that those programs should be coming online for irrigators and landowners to use to access information about evapotranspiration and crop needs. That can help irrigators here to conserve water and better schedule their irrigation practices to make sure the crop's getting what it needs without, using excess amounts of water, which is better for their bottom line as well. And another project that has been going on, it's funded through OWEB for the council, is called Monitoring ET in the Harney Basin. And basically what that is that we have 2 eddy covariance stations, which are like weather stations that the aggregate stations use. However, these eddy covariance stations, one is also located at Mark Owens. It's actually in, I believe, the same field as the aggregate station. And then the second station is down at the Malheur Field Station. The difference between the aggregate and the eddy covariance is that the eddy covariance stations collect data continuously and report that data to a scientist in Nevada. I believe it's every 15 minutes. And then this grant is also, there's a collaboration of scientists between the Desert Research Institute, NASA, and University of Idaho that are analyzing that data. And that data will be used to help calibrate the aggregate stations and verify the data that the aggregate stations is collecting. And they're also developing more tools that can help irrigators, to conserve water, improve their crop And for me, it's been really interesting to learn about all the tools being developed that can really help irrigators to monitor what the evapotranspiration rates are, both in agriculture and in what they call phreatophyte landscapes, which is our sagebrush step with the phreatophytes are plants like greasewood. I'm not quite sure sagebrush, but plants that the roots are deep enough they directly access groundwater, and then they transpire water out into the air. So that's been a really interesting project for me, and the group is getting things together. We were planning to have a workshop here in May to help start educating irrigators on how to access some of these sites, and they wanted some information from landowners and irrigators on what would be the most useful as they're developing this tool. Now it's looking like we'll have to wait and reschedule that to fall this time, but it's really an interesting project. And then the Harney Basin Wetlands Initiative is a group of people here. High Desert Partnership is kind of the lead for the collaborative. The Watershed Council has been the fiscal agent for several of the grants. 3 of them are being completed. We have 2 dam replacement structures. One is the Sweet Dam, just north of town, and then one of the Tyler dams, which is out kind of off of Fry Road. The replacement of the structures is going to help with maintaining flood irrigation, helping to get water out to the fields, not only for the benefit of the landowner, but also for migratory birds with the flood irrigated wet meadows. Our third project that is completing is what we call our carp threshold or carp biomass project. It was a project out in Develo where they had created enclosed structures in the pond and let the vegetation grow, and then they stocked each enclosure with a certain amount of carp, trying to determine, how much carp can be in an area and the vegetation still survives. And then the data from that will be extrapolated into to useful things in managing carp in Malheur Lake, because one of the main focuses of the Harney Basin Wetlands Initiative is to help restore Malheur Lake to a healthy environment. So lots of good things going on with that. It's been fun to be a part of both helping to make sure that flood irrigated meadows and flood irrigation remains strong in Harney County, and then also to help with restoring the lake. So the Eastern Oregon Ag Research Center and the Watershed Council are both still partnering to produce the High Desert Youth Range Camp. Our college camp was supposed to be going on next week, which of course now has been postponed, and from what I've heard out there, they're going to wait till May at some point to determine if we're going to cancel high school camp for this year or not. Camp has been really good. College camp has been bringing in 7 different colleges. It's natural resource majors that come. They learn about what it takes to be a scientist, learn about the sagebrush step, mingle with scientists, learn about, careers in natural resources. It's been really successful with a lot of good feedback. So our small grant program is up and running. We have small grants available through Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board for up to $15,000. There are several priorities in uplands, riparian, water quantity and quality, fish passage. These grants are easier for smaller projects for people in the area. We have a local review team that grants can be submitted through the Watershed Council or the FWCD. The local review team reviews it, then it goes on to OWEB just for a final check, and funding can usually be completed in about 2 to 3 months. rather than their normal cycle of, grant submission. Like say, if you submit a grant in the fall, you'll find out in the spring whether it's funded or not, so, that has been good. Other than that,
You've been pretty busy.
that's what's been keeping me busy this last year. So, anyway, yes, it's been a good year for the council. And then, my next order of business was, I hope Carrie got my letter yesterday afternoon. I know I had emailed all of you a couple of weeks ago about the fact that with Representative Owens moving up to the Oregon legislature, that there is an open spot on the council for the Harney County Court, and I would ask that you guys please, fill that position.
How often do you meet?
We meet once a month. It's the third Tuesday of the month from 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay,
We do have call-in,
sure.
call-in information. We do actually have a new Zoom account that will be, our April meeting will be meeting by Zoom.
Yeah.
So,
And when you do meet in person, it's out at your office in Hines.
yeah, in mind.
Okay. We will discuss this amongst us, and one of us will fill that spot.
Okay.
I'm getting nods.
I will, I know I will be coming back here shortly, probably in May sometime. We do have a couple other open positions. My one concerned citizen position, I actually have several people interested in that, and so the council has it on their April agenda to, talk with both of those people and then decide on making, decide on which person to recommend to you to have appointed to that position, so.
Okay.
That's kind of a new situation for me, so.
Okay,
It's
so we got some,
interesting.
Commissioner Darrell has a question for you.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask who the, current members of the council are.
Oh. Hey, give me a second here, let me pull this up so I can, come on, computer.
Okay.
Just about there. Because if I start just rattling them off, I will, forget somebody. Board members. Where's my board members? There they are. And my computer is being really slow. So we have 7 landowner positions because our watershed council actually is, normally a watershed council would cover one fifth field touch within the state of Oregon, but because we have a lower population level, we actually have 7 subbasins within our area. And we always, when the watershed council started, Steve Grafsky had, or the members who started it was Steve Grafsky and Gary Marshall, and I don't remember the others right off, wanted to make sure that they included the Druzy area. Druzy is not actually in our natural boundary, but we do include a Druzy position, which is Tyler Harris. Our Donner and Whitson subbasin is Fred Otley. Silver Creek subbasin is Angie Ketcher. Our Guano subbasin right now is actually Guano and Thousand Virgin down there is vacant. Our Elmwood Lake subbasin position is vacant. The Harney Mountain Lake subbasin is Joe Whitfield. The Sylvie subbasin is Rachel Bobian. Oops, I went too far. Rachel. Our landowner general, which includes any of the areas right now, is Pat Sharp. Our concerned citizen for Burns and Hines is Brenda Smith. Our concerned citizen general position is that which was filled by Diane Rappaport, who passed away in January, and that's the position we're looking to fill. Our concerned citizen at large is John Phelan. Our environmental member is Alexa Martinez, who is a wildlife biologist down at the refuge. Our education position is Justin Johnson. And it went too far again. Our sportsman position is Ben Cate. He works with Hydrosis Partnership. Our Burns Paiute Tribe member is Brandon Haslick. We have a Harney SWCD representative. Right now it is Scott Franklin. Our county court position, of course, was Mark Rowland. We have the Burns District BLM, which is Jamie McCormick. And then our advisory position, the Eastern Oregon Ag Research Center, we have Chad Boyd. NRCS is Zola Ryan. The Wildlife Refuge is Jeff Mackey. Our ODF&W representative is Dave Banks. J.R. Johnson represents Water Resources Department, and then we have an open position for the Forest Service.
No wonder you couldn't remember them all off the top of your head.
There's 19 altogether. So yes, that's why I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
Well, I appreciate you, pulling that up and reading it to us. That was helpful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it gives us a little bigger picture of what you're dealing with in a meeting setting and who you're trying to incorporate.
Yep. The mandate from Oregon statutes is to have a broad representation of your community.
I think you're doing that.
You got it.
I think we got it covered. So, we don't always get, 100% participation at every meeting, but, it's a large group of people, so, and I appreciate every single one of them.
Okay,
Thank you.
any further questions for Karen?
No, thank you, Karen, that was very informative.
Hey,
Thanks, Karen.
Appreciate it.
We'll get back to you on
I will
our,
let you get going, and, look for me again sometime in May with, a request to appoint someone to our open concerned citizen position, and let me know whenever, you guys decide.
okay, sounds good, we will.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Karen.
Uh-huh.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I don't, nobody else on the call, correct? The phone will be open for public comment, or something like that. So we will close the phone line, no more public comments, it's 10:28. Goodbye. New business item 2, COVID update. Emergency manager.
So what we've done, we've opened up the EOC, which is still pretty much just me and logistics section chief. We do have some volunteers. We now have Tom Sharp handling all medical departments throughout the county. If they're needing anything, they're going to be going through him. We're setting it up by breaking it into groups. Emergency support functions, which will be 2 for communications or Aries people, 4 fire, which is Scott Williamson, 8, which is medical, health and medical, which is going to be Tom Sharp, 9 is search and rescue, which is going to be John Petty, 16, which is Sheriff Jenkins, which will be law enforcement, and then 18 is business, which is Lola Johnson and Denise Rose. Also, we have a recovery section already starting up, which is going to be under Denise Rose and Lola Johnson again, and probably going to be talking to Patty about helping with that recovery function, because emergency managers only deal with like getting it going, and then they pull out, and then the county and everybody else kind of takes over. So I'll get with Patty probably later today or tomorrow on that function.
So all of that I'll bring to you guys too.
And then we have we put in for a $10,000 Ford family grant. It was a by invitation only grant. We got $10,000 for public health, which was going to be used for testing, but we're now hearing that the hospital may have some delays in being able to get all the materials they need to do the testing. And if that's the case, we're not gonna wait a couple weeks when we could be using the money for something else right now. Because we're not even sure what's going on. The paper I gave you guys is a summary of just yesterday. And on the front page, so far, the state of Oregon has, in the last, I think it's been about a month that they've been testing, maybe a little over a month, they've totally tested 23,007 people. That is half of 1% of our population in the state. That's a little concerning to me, because we could have a lot more people sick and we just don't have the capability of doing it. And out of all of them tests, only 12% have been done by the state lab. The state lab does not have the capability to do, I do believe, 80 tests a day. And we're sending out, a lot of ours are not actually going to the state lab unless it's to verify something from a different lab. We're sending everything out to private labs right now, which is why we were hoping to hook up with the hospital on this new testing thing that Mike Haynes over at the hospital and the lab was putting together. But I'm guessing, like I said, as of yesterday, he was still having some problems getting some of the materials that he needs. So
So are you still committed though to help with that in some form?
we're still holding to the 10,000 to that right now. We're still waiting to hear back from him today, how long it's going to take for him to get everything he needs. Because if it's a back order for all the testing materials or something, and it's going to take weeks to months, then I would rather put that money towards something else. The money has to be spent on a COVID response. So it can go for anything as long as it's dealing with the COVID response. But if we're going to have to wait months or weeks to get these test kits from the supplier that Mike Haynes is going through, then by then this might be gone by the summertime. It may have lessened up and everything dropped down where we're not being affected anymore. And hopefully open everything back up. So far on the state on this front page still, we have only 69 patients on ventilators throughout the state. So we're still doing good with, which is why the governor sent the 150 to New York.
Back to the 10,000, find out what he says, but even if it is a few weeks out, maybe we can still have about partial case to the resurgent in the fall possibly, just a thought.
Well, and that's it,
If we miss this window, maybe there's gonna be another.
Well,
We can still be part.
and we're concerned of like the Spanish flu where it went down in the summer and kind of went away, and then in the fall it came back with a vengeance. Yeah, they went from killing 5,000 people a day worldwide to killing 25,000 a day worldwide in the fall.
At least in November is the.
Yeah, so we're kind of still keeping an eye on that. We're still waiting to hear more from OHA and CDC on that. On page 3, it kind of shows you a status of the hospitalizations since this started here. And if you look at the middle graph, the little blue line at the bottom, that's how many people are actually going to the hospital right now because of COVID. But then again, because we're not able to test as much as we would want, right now the tests that the government's doing, we're sending out, the last response I heard was that we're only getting 4 million a week of those tests sent out. We have 327 million people in the country. So 4 million a week it's gonna take forever to get everybody tested.
Well, then with the testing requirements, they're still pretty stringent, and so people that may have them but just don't have a severe case of it.
And that's the other thing,
flying under the radar.
we've had some who we thought for sure were gonna come up positive and negative.
They had second run.
We had one who we thought for sure, and the test came back inconclusive, so we did the test again, and it came back negative. And that one we sent to our lab, the state lab here within the state.
Is there any difference between when the state labs process the tests and the private sector, or are they both?
They're both similar. The only difference is if we have an inconclusive somewhere where it's like maybe the PCR test tests 2 genes, And if one comes up positive, but the other one's negative, it's inconclusive, we're not sure if it's positive or, a false positive, false negative. So then we do a second test that gets sent out to the state lab. And then
Their protocols are just more.
they
assured.
just want to double check, no matter what, if we have a private lab that comes in conclusive, the state lab wants a new sample and we send it in, which we did, and it came back negative. And so far, we've tested over 30, I think it's about 38 people within the county, which, like I said, it's not much, but we are under strict guidelines with OHA as to, you've gotta have a fever, you've gotta have a cough, shortness of breath, you've gotta have been around someone who was a positive case or had traveled to China before we're allowed to use their testing.
Hard to meet that criteria.
Not many people in the county has gone to China.
We're a hardy bunch.
And then the people that could have been around somebody, we have no idea if we're around any positive cases, because I'm not asking somebody at the store or the gas station if they're a positive so that I can come back and say, hey, test me. Nobody else is doing that either, so.
That's the hard thing, you walk by some of the store, you're like, or after the weekend, coworker will walk by somebody, then all of a sudden you think you're fine, and you might not be.
Yeah.
It's odd, but
But luckily, Harney County has been pretty well, I mean, we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing. We do have a lot of people coming through from California, Washington, and all over the country. They're still traveling through here. So, I know the gas stations are keeping an eye on that, and they're not too happy having to deal with a lot of these people coming in, because they're worried about getting, sick from.
I know one gas station, he wasn't thrilled with the governor's order to allow people to pump their own gas, but that's just that many more hands on everything.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to, no, we're still pumping your gas, and he knows whose hand's been on that.
Exactly, and I agreed with doing it that way.
I agree with that.
Because I'm from Ohio, so we always pump our own gas out there, and when I came here, it was like, well, and honestly with this, I would rather someone else pump my gas so that not 20,000 people are touching that.
Or
pump,
keypad if it's the electronic ones.
So the only thing then is your credit card or cash that you're giving to them. That's the only thing that, kind of still worries me. But a lot of guys I've seen, some of them were wearing gloves or using hand sanitizer after dealing with anybody, so they're at least trying to keep it clean. Also on this graph, the middle graph, there was a little bump and then it went down. Now this graph is for the whole state. We're still seeing some numbers and we're still going up right now. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. Every 4 to 6 days, we're having doubling of deaths or doubling of cases, which the cases can't really go by that too much because we have probably more people out there sick. So, of course, we're going to get more numbers on that. But I've noticed that we're getting a longer span now. Instead of 4 to 6, it's out 7 days before it doubles. So, maybe the whole state, like I said, this is nothing scientific, but just from observation, we may already be going on the downhill of this.
In our policy meeting yesterday, the surges, Jolene said the surge is supposed to be the 21st, so next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I asked if that was still ramping up or that's the peak, that's supposed to be the peak day. But we all know that target's been moving too, so
And
fingers crossed.
Yes.
The data is changing, and so it's one of those, their predictions.
But this is encouraging to see.
Well, and that's it.
Not
It's all
accurate.
based on predictions. Even what I'm saying is my prediction of, just by the data I'm looking at. And I'm hoping my prediction's right. Besides that, I mean, we're trying to still write grants and get more money for any county organization or anything else. I'm still working with Suzanne. We're trying to write as many grants as possible for any type of extra money that we can get. If this does ramp up here, we probably will be calling in the Forest Service BLM. I've already talked to them. They're on, kind of a standby. We still have to put it through the state to get that order in, and some other things that are going on, dealing with using the Forest Service tree cooler and stuff like that. Right now, we can't use it. It's down for at least a couple of weeks. So me and Suzanne will be working on some other options tomorrow to try to figure out some other options that we may have for that. Besides that,
That's from,
yeah, I didn't really want to say that out loud, but, so tomorrow we'll be doing some other things. We have been getting more supplies in from the state that I was surprised that we got yesterday. 2 big boxes full of stuff.
One thing that was interesting, and of course, it was just as I was going through so much stuff that we're all getting, but it looked like distributions of PPE, the types that Grant County, for instance, was getting, and ours were totally different things. I was just curious about that, but not trying to put you on the spot on that. I just noticed that they were in line, either they requested or were getting certain things, and we were getting different kinds of things.
There's usually 5 different types of PPE that we can get on a normal basis. We don't even have to order it anymore. They're just keeping an eye on our usage, and they'll send in, which is procedure masks, N95s, gowns, face shields, and gloves. Anything outside of that, we basically special order through them. And our people only wanted hand sanitizer and a couple other things, and that's all we got.
Okay.
I'm willing to order anything for anybody, but I don't know what they need, so I wait till they tell me what they need.
And that would be our medical professionals as well as Tom Sharp would be the ones.
Yeah. The PPE is not just for our medical people, though. It is to be used for fire service, law enforcement, any other first responders, EMS, everybody else out there like that, first responder is allowed to come in and get it from us. So it's not just for the medical people. And starting tomorrow, we will get with all the different groups, the ESFs, working with them to give us a list of what they need so that we can start giving them some of it too. Which we already have been actually giving some of it, but not too much, and we're keeping an eye on everything. I didn't want to use too much for the first responders right away, and then the hospital get hit real hard. But so far we still we have 0 cases.
Mr. Brennan, I was surprised at the age distribution of the positive tests. But I guess, now the more I think about it, I mean, the deaths though are still in those upper 3 brackets. And almost all with some underlying conditions.
And I did want to bring to everybody's attention, we are going to be having the National Guard coming through. I've already talked to a couple of you, I don't know if I told everybody, but they're going to start delivering PPE and other equipment that's going to be coming into the hospital.
And will they look like an alarmingly militarized delivery?
They will
or
be
just...
in a military vehicle, and it will probably be like 2 guys, maybe 4, and they're going to drop stuff off, then they're going to leave. So it's not like they're coming in to do anything. They're not camping out here. They're not going to stay here. It's just a delivery service. That's it. That's all the state is going to. The state was going to, we were going to get some tents, 10 tents for 10 different hospitals, 3 of them here on the east side. The company was going to charge $27,000 to deliver. Harney County was offering to help to deliver them, and I was getting some people to volunteer time and stuff, but the state was going to have to pay for fuel and food for them. So at most, they were going to pay maybe $2,000. And then the state decided we're not going to keep paying all these delivery fees, so what we're going to do is National Guard sitting there. So that's why they're being used. And it's going to save some money.
Makes sense.
And so the tents were acquired or not yet?
They're April 17th is when they're supposed to be being picked up. They were having some problems with getting some parts because what it is, it's a military style tent, but I do believe it's white on the outside, not green. On the inside, it comes with an isolation tent kit. Basically, it converts half of the tent into a positive or negative pressure room for people who have the virus. It comes with cots and all these other machines. It comes with its own HVAC system for heating and cooling. It comes with a generator, lights, everything. And they're about $47,000.
And so we are in line for one of those.
One of them is coming for the Harney District Hospital. One's going up to Grant County, one's going down to Lake County. I actually know where all the other ones are going to, but nowhere near us.
We're not gonna need it.
Yeah. And that's it. Like I said, OHA has talked to me and they were like, we're getting ready for a surge, you're gonna get hit hard. And I told them, no, we're not. For one, we still have 0 cases. We can't have a surge without sick people. Now, that's not to say we won't be dealing with some sick people, because if the hospitals get overloaded in Deschutes County, we may end up taking people here from over there.
Are those, thoughts, the planning kind of for those scenarios, is that ongoing? Has that been through MOUs or just conversations, or are we waiting until we need to have those conversations?
Well, we already have a medical surge plan. Well, the hospital didn't, we did. They created one this past week, and the reason for that is that we get overrun or some other hospital gets overrun, that we have and we do already have MOUs with like Lake County, Deschutes, and Grant County's hospitals to be able to send our surge there, or if they get overrun, they can send some to us. And I know that was worked on, that plan through our HPP was the health. It's a health group of all public health people, hospitals and everything else. We all work together, including emergency managers. Last year they came up with that plan, and we signed it, I do believe, last year.
Thank you.
Any questions?
So, I do, just in general, and I know I'll hear more at a meeting tomorrow, but in general, if the situation here locally stays stable and about the same or not too much different, will the EOC, Emergency Operations Center here locally, will that be something that we just meet occasionally as a group, or what would that look like?
Well, I'm now in week 5, so I've already, the first 3 weeks, it was, to me, a virtual thing, where basically I was keeping an eye on everything, and nothing was going on. We were kind of ramping up, and we brought on Tom Sharp to help out in week 4. And week 4, we kind of started opening up the EOC. Now this week, we've had it fully open. We're operational. We're going to have at least a meeting once a week, but this week it's tomorrow. We may meet next week, and then after that it's going to depend on if we have cases.
As circumstances.
Yes.
Do you need any additional help? Are you good right now?
Right now, I don't need anybody. Like I said, I do have the BLM enforcers on standby. All I got to do is make a couple phone calls, and we can, within 3 days, we'll have people to. So if we get one case, I will request that from the government, and within 3 days they'll be able to come in and help
And
out.
they would be functioning as just a general person to help out, or do they have a particular role?
They will have their own roles. The only ones I'm asking for will be finance, operations, and planning.
So those
Outside
would
of
be
that, I
your
really don't.
outside roles that would come.
Well, and that's it. These guys already deal with incident command system, which is what I deal with at our local level. They deal with it every year out, fire lines and everything else. So they already know how the system works. It doesn't matter what it's about. The system, if used properly, it can be for a flood, it can be for a fire, it can be for a pandemic. So they will still know, an operations section chief will still know how to do an operations section chief job, no matter if it's in an EOC or out in the field. So the guys that will be coming will be section chiefs and will know how to do their role. It won't be somebody who's just to fill a spot. It will be somebody who knows and has been trained in that position.
Thank you.
Well, you give us a report on the 22nd?
Sure.
We should She's all up there. Be a whole different world in 2 weeks.
I'm hoping that it's,
No.
well, I hope it's a different world that we can get back to, you know, business instead of what we're in currently.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Back for 2.
Are you ready for me?
We are.
Okay.
Bring
I'll be
coffee.
right there.
Bye. I got one water resource in. I got 2.
I didn't get any, so maybe you should.
March 24th and March 30th. Oh, maybe they're old ones.
Were those from last week?
Maybe they were still in my folder.
Cause I know last week, we
I'll
had-
check.
Yeah, March 24th and 30th. Those are
Oh,
Oh, maybe they quit doing it. I don't know.
or last.
I usually take my stuff up.
They're not working.
yeah, there are no water use requests to look at. They're shut down.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She said yesterday. Okay,
Okay,
so we are on item 3, resolution 2020-06, intra-fund transfer of appropriations within categories.
okay. So I just reviewed the budget and this resolution for public health fairgrounds reserve and the building fund moves appropriations from one category to another to keep us within our budget so that we don't overexpend a certain category.
It's not new dollars,
It's not new dollars, it's just changing the appropriation from one line to another. So like for instance, in public health, their materials and supplies category consists of a number of general ledger lines. And their reimbursed items. So their reimbursed items, that one's kind of hard to budget for because would be like refunds that they pay out. And so they exceeded their budget and we need to move money there so that that budget is okay. And so we're gonna move it from materials and supplies to reimbursed. And the same thing in,
some ones that decrease, ones that increase.
so, and then for fairgrounds reserve, the same thing. We're reducing their capital outlay and increasing the materials and supplies.
On that one, I have a question, but not necessarily for you, but maybe for, but is that the nature of the material and supplies that need to be increased, what's causing that? Is it unanticipated?
For the fairgrounds reserve or just in general?
Well, in this case, for the fairground reserve,
So for fairground reserve, it looks, they were budgeted at 25,000,
for capital outlay.
excuse me, for materials and supplies. Their
materials.
original budget was 25.
Okay.
And they have spent year-to-date 35,483. And I honestly, I don't know what it is. I know that Jordan got some grant monies in and he's been putting it in here and then spending it out of here. And I think wasn't paying attention to where it was coming from. So it's within his total budget to spend that much, but we just need to move it from capital outlay up to materials and supplies. The capital outlay expenses it says is expensive for equipment, building, and special purchases. And I think he was doing improvements.
Yeah, typically capital outlay would be a large purchase,
It's like the purchase of a stall barn.
or a tractor, or
Yeah,
something that's, right. So.
I-
And he did get a grant that went into that fund,
And I can just
which
call
is
him
causing
and
him
ask.
to overspend that line.
you know, if
Yeah,
I
I mean,
wanna
I don't
know
know
the nature
specifically what-
of why material and
And
supplies
I do
are-
wanna say that what we're doing here is standard and normal and okay to do. It just keeps us
Right.
within, so we're not overspending a certain category in our budget.
Well, I appreciate it, and it also, because it makes it easier for the departments to budget more accurately every year or to provide input to the
Well, and
budget.
it helps us from any budget violations.
And budget's always your best guess.
Yeah, it's your best guess.
So adjustments have to be made, you can make all the do all the resolutions you want every year.
Mhm.
That's not a penalty. It's-
No, I
big
like the
things
fact that we
up
do these. I mean, I think it was an underutilized tool over some years,
Yeah.
but not under this administration, so I'm glad that we do this. No, I'm just curious, I'll just give him a call, not to put him on the spot, just curious.
Oh, no, he'll probably be able to tell you. I
Yeah.
just see the total dollar amount, I didn't look at each item.
No, that's fine, I just wondered if you just underestimated, or if there's something that, required material and supplies expenditures this year that had not been anticipated, or what the deal may be.
Well, is the company that he paid to do the overview of fairgrounds, is that probably something that he budgeted for, or was that?
When we get all done, I can go look, I can go pull up that budget
Certainly
line,
that would
just
be a
see.
larger
Part of it,
expenditure.
I mean, you got a grant for
Covering
when,
part
and I
of
wanna
it.
say their total price came in at 28. You did get some money from the cities that go towards it, and I did some in the economic development fund, where we have a little extra.
And he brought me
That
a
was
deposit
totally-
the other day, I think he said he's gotten all of it now.
And that's good, because that really isn't material and supplies, it would be hopefully, you know, be some, it's probably other things. Thank you.
Yeah,
He didn't have, his material and supplies on in the fair budget itself was like
Under,
$7,800, it was nothing this year, it was
under budget.
terrible, so he's had to scramble.
lesson learned, and
Well, yeah, they just haven't, he originally wanted like 25 in that line, and our budget process went through, we cut it down to 8, so, no, we're gonna be creative. Or do the bare minimums, I hate doing that, but
Where we're at.
that's where we're at, yep.
and the building fund one, the reason we're increasing the administration is that pays the property taxes. And the property taxes came in a little bit higher than.
And the is that,
So the
is that the
building,
maritime property tax, or is it the lottery lane?
the building fund is where the Amerititle
Yeah.
payment goes.
So we have, even though we don't pay taxes, we own that building down there where you're at, but we do have to pay taxes on a portion of it as maritime.
The part you're renting out.
Mhm.
So I underestimated what it comes.
okay, thank you, that one's understood. You wanna just get Bobby Joe's input on all three?
Sure, we're at 11, we have to do this bid opening, so.
Oh, okay.
Go with a whole 7,
Is that the fair?
that's
board?
the unexpected revenue
Okay.
donation.
So, the Fair Board Memorial Fund, we have like 3 different fair funds, but the Fair Board Memorial Fund received $3,950, so they're like 276% over what they were budgeted to receive, which we thought was
We
about.
didn't budget anything for donations, which didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But looking back, I should have caught that, we always get some type of
So then they,
memorials or something.
But yeah, we don't know what they'll be, so it is.
Yeah,
But
so
you can
they-
still put it in a number, even if this year not. This year I put in 1,000, just gonna put it just to be safe, so we don't have to do this all the time.
so then of course, then they expended that money. So this is a resolution saying we got more money in than we expected, and we'd like to spend it, and that allows us to do that.
Oh.
So that's why we increased both lines.
Then predator control, and that was
Mhm.
same thing. Right? We got that 11 or 10,000 for Roaring Springs, and
Yeah, it's just on predator, yeah.
And that was, over and above, we had not budgeted for donations, and so
We did some.
some, okay.
We got more, Mark went out and solicited and got more.
So on the next one, for predator control, the beginning budget was 10 grand, but we actually received 21,492. And we received a $10,000 payment from Roaring Springs, 1,500 from stock growers, and 50 from Harney County sheep wool growers.
So that, and that works with the Ron. Yeah, and goes over to that. And so they increase their services to us, and then they send us a monthly bill. And it's all but expanded. So I think we got a bill, Carrie said, we're gonna go from them again. I said, there's no money left, it's $7.95. I think there's $168 left in the thing. But, so it's about shot.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we need to make a motion on?
No, we're gonna do the bid opening right at 11, and we're a couple minutes left, so we will come back to that.
Okay.
But you're good. Thanks, Bob. Hello, Roadmaster.
Yes,
Are you here for your bid opening?
I am.
Okay. So it's 11:01, county court has scheduled 11 AM opening of asphalt bids. And we received 3, one from Western States, one from Albina Asphalt, and one from Idaho Asphalt Supply. These are always fun to read. Western
And it
Asphalt-
really just, the oil price is what's pertinent. The distributor price is gonna be
What it is.
what it is.
So CMS 2S,
Mm-hmm.
this is Western States Asphalt, it's $699.50 per ton.
Yep.
And that's a French plant.
Yes.
CRS 2P is 474.61 a ton.
Okay.
And CRS 2P
His cough.
is, are you turning it up?
I said yes.
I was gonna comment, but I won't.
I'm not totally unreasonable.
472.14 a ton FOB Riley.
Okay. And the locations, I'm adjusting, but the main one is gonna be down by Roaring Springs. So the Riley one may not happen, I may just utilize that, all of them on Caldwell.
Superior Rural Schools came
What's that?
in, SRS came in.
Oh, did it? I was expecting it
There were
any time.
$1 million in
That's always nice.
there. Yes.
Nobody's driving now, so I won't get any money for tax or for the gas. So.
And Albina Asphalt.
They're always the problem child because they don't quote the QMS.
CMS 2S, delivered French plant, 465 a ton.
Mm-hmm.
The Riley is 440 a ton. And the CRS 2P is 407.
So they quoted all the oil?
Let you look.
Typically they don't because they don't make it.
I can't, that bottom is a little different, but it is.
Wow. Yeah, typically they don't, they haven't in the past, haven't made the CMS 2S.
They come out of Anderson.
Yeah. Their offices are in Vancouver, but they come out of Madras. So, okay, perfect.
So, Tristan, typically what happens is we read these, Eric takes them under advisement and then comes back with his recommendation.
I'll go in there and just make sure the numbers are right and everything kind of matches up, and then I'll come back and recommend that we accept the bid from one oil company or the other.
I know
And this is
asphalt.
oil that's going to a specific project or just to have in your supply chain?
Typically, it's a project, so what I'll do is I'll go through and kind of identify projects that we want to do for the year, and then I will send them off with a letter. You know, these three are the only ones that bid on it. There really isn't anybody else that provides it. So it's, I send a letter to the three companies saying that, you know, my total of this kind of oil is this much, FOB, you know, French Glen, or wherever I think I'm gonna do the project, and then of course, then they'll come back with their bids, so. But yeah, they're earmarked for a specific, and again, I mean, that doesn't mean that I have to do them, it's just that, you know, I've got roads that I've identified that I need to do something with.
And then you'll know the costs. of
Yep, exactly.
that project.
Yep.
So Idaho Asphalt Supply, CMS 2S, 465 a ton. CRS 2P, 422 a ton. CRS 2P, Riley, 422 a ton. And they have another line, distributor service. $1,500 minimum charge, $22 a ton, or $240 an hour, portal to portal.
Okay.
I'll turn those over to you.
Yep, perfect.
Thank you. Go on with some business.
And do we want into this next resolution, number 6, or not? Okay.
Let's go back to our 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5, yes, thank you.
Well,
So since the driver was on paper for a long time, reading different groups of paper from who knows where. Sorry. So you just, crazy how you get a little more cognizant of things. Yeah, that's all you hear about.
well, the treasurer answered my the questions I had to my satisfaction. Would you do them one at a time?
Yes, please.
All right, well, I'd like to move to approve resolution number 2020-06 in the matter of interfund transfer of appropriations within 3 different funds, public health, RHC 245. Do I need to read the amounts?
No.
Okay, as on the resolution document, Fairgrounds Reserve 326 and Harney County Building Fund 356.
I second that.
Seconded to approve resolution 2020-06 in the matter of interfund transfer of appropriations within public health, Fund 245, Fairgrounds Reserve, Fund 326, Harney County Building Fund 356. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you.
Oops. Still wasn't corrected up here, which is what I called. I'm just supposed to put a late. I called Carrie
It
yesterday.
said and a day set aside for a regular meeting. It says beginning on that date and a day set aside for a regular meeting. Does that take into account today's date?
Let me ask her just in case it didn't make
We're
it.
dated down, doesn't date it down here, correct?
Right. But when I called her, let me just see, in
Yeah.
case she hasn't all done.
Since I just thought with the language saying and a date set aside, that incorporates April 8th, even though it began on the 26th.
Typically, it does mean the date.
It is the specific.
She's gonna
Yeah.
generate this.
So it's on all 3 that is correct.
Yeah. Yes, I heard it say, I'm all due. This is about. You know why that happens, we tabled these things, new business, we only get a work session on the 26th.
Yes.
So then it's- We can approve my motion while she's doing that. Let's go ahead and go with 07.
Okay. I don't have mine in front of me anymore, so.
Okay,
All I got is.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2020-7 in the matter of appropriating funds, unexpected occurrence or condition to the Fair Board Memorial Fund number 253.
A second.
Moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2020-07 appropriating funds due to unexpected occurrence or condition in regards to Fairboard Memorial Fund number 253. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. I can make a motion. Approving resolution number 2020-08, appropriating funds due to unexpected occurrence or condition, predator control fund number 243.
A second.
Moved and seconded, approve resolution number 2020-08, appropriating funds due to unexpected occurrence or condition, the predator control fund number 243. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
So we'll sign those.
Right. Yeah, bids usually, there's some bids we'll do that, we have a scheduled time like that, and people will actually show
Some
up.
to represent the.
So, stop what we're doing, or you're supposed to take it.
Okay.
Typically, you'll see his budget, he'll have, he will have increased his line amounts for the project he's gonna, hopes to do this summer. So there might be more budgeted for oil or whatever, depending on what he thinks they can
The
do
size of the projects.
in the season.
Look at the top, not the bottom, right?
Well,
When you see how many yesterday, that was correct, but I was talking
Only
about
on
those.
only on the last one, the one I did was correct, but when Bobby Joe sent these for your last meeting and then it got zapped and I just ran them back through the file.
Well, we did work session.
Yeah, so that's why they didn't go through the last time.
Welcome back. Keep your 6-foot distance. After you left, I sanitized, because the virus can live on paper for, 14 days. And so, not knowing where those 3 bids came from, you might want to sanitize.
Yeah, I will do that. The apparent low seems to be IO asphalt, so I'll recommend to the county court that IO asphalt be the supplier for the paving season for 2020.
We need a motion to accept the bid of Idaho asphalt.
Yeah.
I don't have those numbers in front of me now. Right.
You want the number?
Do I have to state it?
I don't think you do, just the apparent low.
Okay, all right, that's the apparent bidder.
Yep.
Did you just make a motion?
No.
You said it pretty well.
I make a motion to approve the asphalt bid from Idaho Asphalt.
Yep.
The apparent low bidder, and on the recommendation of County Road Master Eric Boucher.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve Idaho Asphalt bid. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Any new information that I need to know as far as my department or anything? I mean, I keep it up on, I think everything.
I was watching the news last night, and Portland area ODOT's, they're going through their projects. I think we're still doing the right thing, as long as you keep your folks.
Yeah, and that has been a question of, whether we'll be able to, and we should be able to. I mean, we should be able to, continue with projects. Right now, I have everybody pretty much isolated. You're in this piece of equipment, you're in this piece of equipment. The truck drivers actually are leaving the compound, so they're isolated, and then, individuals that are running a loader or a grader, they're, taking a pickup. So, we're gonna switch gears next week and do crack sealing, which kind of, it's a little bit harder to do that but we're not gonna go as far out as I anticipated before, so, you know, like the Narrows, Sod House is probably that's one road that needs to get done. So, you know, everything will come back in every day, and then so we'll have, you know, everybody in pickups, basically. I mean, that's a little bit more than what we would typically do. Typically, we probably have 3 pickups going out there, but we may have to add one more just to keep.
Do you need any masks or anything? You might check with Paul.
And I'll ask them. I mean, I haven't,
Ask the guys.
I've got the sterile wipes at the counter, so they can wipe down pretty much everything, you know, if they're getting in a new truck or a new piece of equipment, they, you know, have access to those, and then, but we haven't done any masks. I haven't had anybody concerned about it. I mean, they're typically outside and away from people, but.
So when there are cracks, someone's driving along pulling the machine.
Yeah, and then so you have 2 in the back.
Hoses.
You just have 2 in the back, and they'll exchange every once in a while, just because the wand gets heavy.
Right.
So they can stand,
So they're.
you know, at a distance, and then the other 2 are blowing out the cracks, and one's in the pickup, and one's out actually blowing out the cracks. So, you know, when they're at the job site, they're actually it's just getting there and back. And we were gonna go and finish up at Van Druzy, but, you know, what we would do in a normal year is take that machine back to Druzy, park it there for the night, plug it in, and then everybody kind of go from town to there and then out. So again, we'll do Sod House, and then we'll try to figure out, you know, where we need to. I mean, there's quite a few roads that need to get done, and we can kind of keep it.
If you have
For the
to
spring.
rigs out to keep them, so we can do.
So that's what we're doing anyway.
Sounds good.
All right.
Able to stay in motion, that's all it matters.
That's exactly right.
Everything else, so much else shut down, we gotta keep something going.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. This, when it went to recording with, so this is, when we vacated the streets out for Crane High School. The streets that weren't being used. When it went to Karen, she caught an error in the description,
Oh,
the legal
okay.
description.
Okay, good.
This is correcting that error.
Okay.
I can't tell you which one it is. No, if you were to ask me.
I'm glad that she was able to catch it.
So, we could bring them in if we like.
I'm comfortable with
Yeah, I'm not gonna go look up the times.
the tax lots.
Yeah.
So this is prior to you that the whole town of Crane is platted, and like, there's a road that goes right through the middle of the football field where the concession stand is, supposedly. And there's some other pieces like in their parking lots and areas. So that whole.
It don't exist, but that's
Right,
how they're
but it's how
legally.
it's platted.
It's
So,
about clean.
so basically, cleaned up, the school sits on a piece of property without all these intersecting roads that on plat that don't really exist. And so we went through the process to get school had it surveyed. We had an error in our first description.
I move to approve resolution number 2020-09 in the matter of amending resolution number 2019-25, the vacation of streets located in the town site of Crane, Oregon, as depicted in the resolution document.
I second that motion.
Moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2020-09 in the matter of amending resolution number 2019-25, the vacation of streets located in the town site of Crane, Oregon. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. This, no correspondence, that's carried. The next 2 weeks, stay healthy. To me, the month of April is just gonna be as is.
So all of the proposed county court meetings out in rural areas have been canceled, and they're aware that they're canceled.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
She'd never sent out the postcards.
Okay.
Things started happening, so they really were, other than contacting schools, nothing else happened. so they can consider.
Well, it's, I think our county entities that can operate and provide services are doing so, doing it well, and I haven't heard anything but actually thanks for what they're able to do. Feeling really concerned about small businesses, restaurants, and
Something on Facebook last night, Andrea Latham with the SBA, she was in Andalusia, and Martin,
Victoria.
Victoria was praising her for the information she brought and shared. It sounded like she's going up and down Main Street and doing
Awesome.
a great job. So great timing that they got her in that position.
That's really good.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
good to
I
hear.
made a bunch of phone calls, to Fields Cafe, to Field Station, to Ords, to places, just to say, here's his website. Supposedly this is some funds you can get fairly easily without being loaned, but look into it. But, and they all were appreciative because some don't go on Facebook and that, that's just been waste. A lot of stuff has been posted. And I got some takeout food at El Toreo the other couple days ago, and Rachel, I called when I pick it up, I said, can I talk to you about some stuff you can tell folks? And she was like, thank you so much. So, anyway, we can get the word out.
I think the word's finally getting out to them. I haven't heard anybody that's gone through the process and how easy it's been yet. I'm interested to hear that feedback, to know those that are trying to participate in it, if it's going as designed.
Texted Nancy at Fairgrounds about the 10. She said I submitted it last night, so she was aware before I
Good.
talked to her, but
Good.
she did like it's pretty easy. And I let some hairdressers know to look for this.
I think because, the overall thing said loan on it, a lot of people just didn't even pursue it, or, and as the word continued to change and get
Yeah.
clarified,
Changed it to a
we kept trying to get the word out, but,
The Rural Health Bank applied for the payroll paycheck reduction. Or Bobby got that in on Monday by the deadline.
good.
Just $80,000. Fingers crossed we get that. So the rule that Rural Health for else there was a question at first. So, Fingers crossed on that one.
If we can have some of that come through, it will help keep everybody more solvent. We talked about, on the conference call the other day, broadband was mentioned, how to move forward with that to make sure that we actually get in and participate properly.
And Mark had asked me the week before, he said, you guys had that study, right? I said, yeah. He said, as long as I'm gonna talk to husband, he says, do you mind if I talk to Harney? He said, no, go for it. And I heard no more, it really shouldn't be his job, so he mentioned again yesterday week, but we should follow up, so.
I'm trying to think big, whatever that study said and recommended and projected, as well as what they said might be too hard, because of which would tend to be more satellite combination wireless.
If we can do it, let's, put it all in the package.
Because all they can do is say no, and that's in our mind is what we need. We just don't have the speeds out here.
So then also they got 3, now it's waiting for 25.
So if and when you talk to them, like I say, I have to do weird sleeping hours to get stuff downloaded or posted, but,
So we need to contact John Huff. I can make that initial contact, see what's gonna take.
if
Pass
he's,
it off to one of you if you want, or I can after tomorrow, I can, eventually, at least out the door and rolling, so I'll have more time. I'll pursue that, because I know what's going on with My Wave and their grant. And if we can get this in place,
But-
still use them and not have to get that loan.
and I agree with that, but don't stop there.
No, it needs to go farther up the county.
But don't stop there with what you talked to, John Huffman about. Also say, we already had this study and stuff done, which we need right away. And then the other piece, which is what really gets to rural broadband and stuff, we anticipate we need an additional X amount for this. It's not fully fleshed out.
No, I'm going for millions. I'm going for millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
that
it
study,
take.
that study
it did address some of that, I remember it,
Further
Nick
out.
talked about it,
Right, so,
but we were just thinking, when are we gonna be able to get that funding?
And so that was something that was done through the economic development, or was that a study
no,
that was?
I would,
That
I
was
wrote that grant.
something, there was some kind of, was it regional solutions for, business? Oregon. At some point, I mean, we as a community recognize that internet broadband is one of our key pieces that we need strengthened, and,
It's always the-
Judge Reynolds went ahead and started working it with Scott Fairley and people, and
That's that grant,
that's
had
something
the
in.
feasibility study done, got the book. It was an $80,000 grant. We got the piece, we got the thing we need, like Mark said, the phone call.
Has the documentation
Yeah,
of the
everyone
need.
said you're, makes Mark, we're in a good position.
Yeah, so, well, if you don't mind, since once you, provide the budget to the budget committee, then we'll be having, spend a lot of time looking at it. Then if you're comfortable and have the time,
Yeah, I'll
If you
at
want to
least
take
get
the
the
lead
ball
on it.
rolling.
Yeah, he said to contact immediately since
Yeah.
that initial
yeah,
contact.
that'd be great.
Getting in there.
Just trying to see if
Well, and I know Denise Rose had said at the community response
Revitalization.
revitalization team that they were gonna do a presentation on broadband that was scheduled for the April meeting, but it wasn't
That
allowed.
was, I think it was wilderness.
It was,
wireless.
so I don't know how that would play into any of this conversation.
See, everybody wants wired broadband. But they want in-home wiring.
Oh, I know what I'm gonna ask.
Not that, that's still not important, because there's, we're never gonna get wired to, you know.
What
For
about,
several years, but we can still work both.
wherever the T1 lines ended, remember, that have come somewhat to our community, is there potential to get the funding to drive that home? I mean, before it was just too
There's
cost
one here
prohibitive.
at
There's one for the
OSU.
ESD, isn't there?
ESU and OSU, I think are the only ones. No, there's one that goes,
Well, the school district did something when they left ESD.
that went to my whip.
Okay.
My whip took over all of their stuff. The T1 line that had something to do with our
Was it near Hines?
dispatch. No, this
Oh,
one,
okay.
that the hospital's been there for, paying for this line, it's like $20,000 a year.
Holland said something about that.
And they're gonna stop that cost, cause we can do it all with microwave. And he's got grants in place, and this summer that they will do away with that. I think it
We
was.
need to think about it, just because there's nothing like the hardwire.
No,
When it all goes to
Correct.
hell.
and that might go down to Richmond too, I don't, but the hospital should be, EMS should be paying that whole bill.
No, that was budgeted by them.
So,
Taken care of by them.
well, obviously, just because we say we're not gonna use it doesn't mean the line, something will pull the line out, so that's a good, you're right, that's a good part of the conversation.
Sounds like, probably need to get the people around the 6-foot distance table, one more time, just in case there's any updates or information I'm aware of, but
I know Paul had quite a bit to say about it, I think he explained it to me, so
Yeah.
he knows exactly where things are and where he'd like them to reach.
Yeah, they're trying to move something over onto the Campbell Valley side. And you talk to Harney Electric, and they can run a wire up to a pole, and it's gonna give them coverage in the Campbell Valley area that they don't, I mean, there's plans going. I just don't know the detail.
Yeah,
And how much
he
is
does
COVID
have
now,
them.
it's still that down. It was all planned for the summer. So hopefully we'll get.
Oh, Karen's
Yes.
deal,
Like,
I would be more than willing to participate in that, where I'm already doing the community wastewater planning piece of that, so.
you got it.
seems like we just keep giving and giving.
But they all,
They all
they
work
feed
together,
together,
that's-
and so it makes it easier in the end, and so.
Right. Alright, so you got that third Tuesday then?
Yeah, it is in the second Tuesday.
You wanna contact Karen, you want me to let her know?
Why don't you go ahead and
Okay.
contact her
All right.
officially, so.
I don't know. So what she was saying, in anybody appointed to council, I think it's must be certain positions. We haven't appointed all those people, I can tell you that. But there must be certain positions that are county court, or it might be the first 7 she was talking about that are
Yeah, that's a lot of.
landowner
She called it
positions or
landowner,
sub-bases.
But then she had all the citizens at large, and it's one of the citizens at large positions that we'd be filling, is what she said.
Yeah, so she said she would get that to us, so that's one of the ones that,
I'll ask her some.
I just can't remember over the year, my years, all those names coming before us.
Yeah, because some of them haven't been here.
And some of them might just be like historian and agricultural research, and it just might be an automatic position that's part of it that we don't deal with, so. I don't know.
Don't necessarily fill
Yeah.
ourselves.
Right.
That's a lot of positions to keep track of for when their term expires, if they're a term-based council.
Yeah, that's a question.
And how you stagger it, you know,
Yeah.
every 2 months. No. So how about any other stuff that you're dealing with, Judge?
It's just been budget.
Okay.
You'll be happy. You're gonna like it.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that.
What did you ask for? You want it? The yellow one? It's in there.
You think I only asked for one thing?
I'm trying to hit that date, but, yeah, it looks good. It
Good,
looks
good. Well, we're starting off better than we had to last year, and
We definitely are.
so,
Well, you're aware of your pieces this time in full, so.
And it's equal revenue, it's equal expenses, we're gonna begin fund balance to start with. I'm still saying it's in that $600,000 to $700,000 range. And we're gonna, and after I plugged in everything, we left us with an excess of around $400,000 still that,
we can start putting to the places we might want to as a budget.
putting money back into the technology reserve fund, which I think is our most important one. The HVH reserve, I'm really not worried about. And there'll be a pretty good chunk going to general operating reserve. Instead of specifics, we could always get into that if we had a need somewhere. I don't know that for you
One
yet.
thing I would appreciate, and we can talk about it at budget tomorrow, but whenever we start the first budget day, which would be tomorrow, if you can say, kind of overall, the total budget is this, the road department, general fund, you know, those categories, and then we can see over time as a budget board, if we're stable, if we're going up or down, you know, in the total. Because I know we've been focused, of course, on the general fund and just getting across the finish line. But now that we're coming out of that, it'll be great to kind of look ahead and be kind of visionary in a little way, as we, that'd be great.
It's gonna be a good budget year compared to last.
Last year was double hockey sticks, AG. Yeah. No, it was good, but I know, just getting your email though, my blood pressure started going up because of memories of last year.
So remember in the budget, Carrie said you'd ask for, you want a copy of last year, but it's in there. It compares.
Right, I thought about that later. Is there anything that isn't, that would drop off from the 3 years ago that would be in last year's budget printout and would be?
No, I didn't actually just talk about that. There's 4 funds that are basically white sheets, but there's still some activity like of interest 3 years ago, so we can't get rid of those still.
Okay.
The only one that will be gone is Veterans Transportation Fund, which is been wiped out for 5 years.
Okay.
That's all. And there'll be a new fund for George, the BLM contract, moving it out of the sheriff's office into its own fund. The fund's different from the feds.
Oh, good. I think that's smart.
And the grants will be moved out of county court. Those will be in general fund, but they're on their own page.
Yeah. It's just so much easier to manage. It's
I mean, every year you learn something, you clean something up.
Well, I really do appreciate the fact that continuously throughout the year, as stuff occurs and we see the need, that it comes before the court to be cleaned up and to create or to transfer, you know. I didn't see a lot of that years ago, maybe they were very stable, but, it's helpful for transparency and for our own understanding, for those of us who just visit the budget during budget season, you know, there's a lot of trying to recall things that
We'll
we don't work
continue
with.
to have quarterly meetings, which I
That helps
find
too.
helpful for all of us.
And that, I think will make this budget session easier too, having this quarter meetings definitely help.
Are there gonna be any surprises of a challenging nature for us?
Yeah. I was talking to Kristen. One is she's disappointed because it's her first budget in our career. I said, well, you don't have to email all the questions. You can go talk to me anytime. We were talking about the fair though. The fair is it's gonna need some help.
The 25,000 of administrative fees, when it doesn't
We need to
generate that much revenue,
discuss that amongst
is very
ourselves.
severe.
The indirect fees that we're charging that county department and maybe other county departments. Well, it's a hard discussion. We know the fair can't afford it, so why would we charge? Do we want to make an exception? It's a decision. But if not, if we have to put money in to make them whole, make that fund balance, we didn't gain anything. So, but you'll see more money in the fair fund to get them through next year. And I hope, to me, if we get the TLT going, it's just be a 1 year commitment we have to make to them. But we gotta help that fund out.
What are some of the state level issues around TLT right now in lottery funds that I keep
So-
hearing kind of alluded to?
There's a lot of
Yeah, they keep getting
cities
mentioned
and
on
counties
calls
that's a big part of the budgets.
where we've never had it in place. It
The one thing it will affect is on us is the money we get in from the lottery funds is what we pay for economic development from. So I did put 20 in there to transfer in case we get, not that I agreed to full contract, but in case we get a reduction, we want to keep that service going, that's in there.
I believe when we seek funds or when we receive funds, that would be a likely place that we may not put placeholder lines because we will definitely need our economic development office.
Yeah.
Lots,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah,
another
full
staff
time.
member for the next year if we can get it to help everybody with this recovery.
I called the county administrator for Jefferson County, Jeff Reynolds, and runs him. Jeff, what, talked to me yesterday, I said, what, besides those two things, where else are we looking at reductions in the county budgets? So that's all he's been able to come up with too, and he's talked with his assistant. Okay, just, we're starting budget Thursday, and that's what I'm going on, and I just want to make sure I'm not in disagreement, you know. I think still everything we're told with those two, so we don't have any TLDs. It's not a loss to us, and our lottery dollars are, you know, a huge part of our budget, a very, very small part of the budget. That's all I can come up with.
Well, we
Bobby and I
have
talked
so
about
many
it.
sources coming in, so it doesn't.
I mean, Herb's, I thought Herb wanted more detail than just the SRS in the field. But there's no comment, there's no talk of anything else being reduced from the government, so.
Would. I think that's true. So we'll all be looking at the budget. You'll be working on broadband. Seems like the conference calls are at a more manageable level now than they were the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks. I always
So
find
we missed-
Congressman Walton's
There
very
was a
helpful.
White House conference.
And
We
we
missed the
missed-
white one, but it'll recap in AOC's.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah, Walden tomorrow. AOC on Friday.
Well,
And
And
EOE, yeah, and Vincent.
I think I need to order a wig pretty soon.
and we sure need some hair.
If this goes on for another couple months, you might see me with a totally new look, guys. Never had one. When I itch it, it'll move around when I itch it.
Let Jeff start cutting for you.
Well, I know, I just miss seeing everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
we need our
passing.
dentist office open, we need everybody back.
And I think after I'm gonna keep restaurants closed longer now. You're gonna see
Some fighting back.
our group, those three, Finley, Bonham, Holmes,
No, both
they're
ways.
gonna rally, they're gonna rally.
Well, by,
Yeah, there's that
by
air
what
caution.
authority do you maintain this lockdown?
I can see
And
through
that's,
April, I keep saying, I can see through April, but then things got to change.
We've been clear through April, and that'll make the eight.
It's
That's a
still
long time for people to be
It's starting to feel like a long time.
Well, I saw the news of Wuhan, China lifted, it was 11 weeks, now they've totally lifted their ban. They were shooting off fireworks, they're locking the stores, they're on the highways. So same thing you're gonna see here. I do think when that thing's lifted, people are gonna go. I know I wanna go.
Well, I'm not spending that much money now.
Neither is the county,
Hurting our,
neither, the county's not spending much either right now either, so that's good.
yeah, I mean, and I want to spend it for the businesses that need me to spend it, even though I don't.
We hardly ever eat out.
Well,
I told Cheryl, I want to eat out twice a week.
well, that's what we're doing, we're like, we'll just put it on the menu, twice a week we'll
Yeah, because we don't.
get some takeout.
And, you know, we're forced up still getting our paycheck. We need help, I want to eat out twice a week.
Yeah, that's what we did too, because it's one of those what else do you do this for?
And
Spread
We
it
live
around.
too far.
we still manage to do that. And we try to spread it around. So,
Okay, anything else?
no.
All right, 11:40, meeting is adjourned. Thank you. See how Sheldon did. Sound bar still jumping around? How do I stop it?